Hello, we're continuing our series, Tips for the Trail. These are some tips that we picked up, my family of three, on a recent hike of the John Muir Trail. We did about a week out on the trail, so we're doing some section hiking and some things that we figured out that we thought you might find useful, whether you're headed to the JMT or anywhere on the trail. For this section, what we're going to talk about are backpacks. I know there's a lot of different things, a lot of different philosophies and things out there about those, but just want to share with you what we use that you might find helpful and some tips to kind of pick up. So my pack is actually several years old. This is an older version of the Gregory Boltero. This is the 75. It's a big one. This is one that Backpacker over the years has been saying, oh, this is kind of the gold standard and things like that. It is a great pack, and the main thing that makes it a great pack is the suspension system. It's just rock solid, keeps it up off your hips and shoulders. It fits you like a glove. Couldn't say enough good things about the suspension on this pack. That's where I think Gregory really put a lot of their effort and time into. However, there were other little creature comforts that they kind of neglected, in my opinion. Say, for example, the hip pockets. Again, this is an older pack. This guy, I think I bought maybe in 2010. Take a look at the size of this hip pocket. If I work really hard, I can get my flashlight in there, and that's about it. Forget about a phone, forget about a GPS device, forget about a snack. These things were hip pockets go practically useless. So to help kind of offset that, I went to Z-Packs, and they have some lightweight stuff that you can use. And what I did is I found this little zipper guy here. It's made of their kind of ballistic material. I think this is like 500 milliliters or something like that. This was able to fit a phone, snack, any other kind of little sundries that I wanted to put alongside there. It fit nicely on the pack. It was about 25 bucks, a little bit pricey, but it was a handy thing to have. So anyway, that was the Boltero. This is kind of, again, like I said, the older version. Now, what happened with that is, as we continue with our backpacking and stuff, my wife actually upgraded her pack, and she went with the Boltero as well, but she got kind of an later edition. So this one's about 2 or 3 years old. A little bit different on the lid as far as compartmentalizing. They did kind of a two-sided lid instead of one big lid. But the other big, huge upgrade, look at the size of these packs here. This is a lot bigger. This guy here is actually weatherproof, so she could fit her camera and her emergency or chapstick and bleach for the water. So a lot of stuff could fit in here. And the other cool thing about this is that it came with its own rain fly. You know, rain flies, you're often dumping 20, 40 bucks on something you've already spent a couple $100s on. So here Gregory threw it all in one. So again, great suspension, but a few little other creature comfort upgrades. This one I think was somewhere around 60 liters that she was using. Now, my son, on the other hand, he kind of went in another direction, and another pack that I like or company is Osprey, so that's what he went with. And the interesting thing about Osprey, I think, you know, I'm still going to give it to Gregory as far as the supports and the structure that it has. I really like that. But I think the creature comforts that Osprey has really kind of gives it you know, you want to give it a close look. It has these really nice large packs on the side, or bags on the side for your water bottle as far as stuffing other things. Also on the back, most of the Osprey packs kind of have this expandable pouch thing, which again, things can breathe, so if you have anything that's wet in there, like shoes or whatever, it can help dry out. But that's a nice expandable thing. It's got these little lash down spots where you can lash down different things, maybe tent stakes. It's got the little lash down thing on the side here where you can loop your poles through. So I think as far as creature comforts, the Osprey maybe has a little bit over top of the Gregory, at least currently where they're at. Price-wise, Gregory's going to be a little bit more expensive. The Osprey was a little bit, probably maybe $75 to $100 cheaper, depending on what you were looking at. So anyway, that's just kind of roughly what's going on with packs. Obviously, we went with a more traditional pack. That's going to be a little bit heavier. If you're one of those ultralight people, you know, there's other things out there. To be honest, you know, this is a heavy pack. This is probably 4+ pounds, so that's a lot of weight, but I know I could really handle the weight. Again, there's a group of 3 of us. We can distribute that. I wasn't too concerned. Looking forward, if I ever want to try to do this again, I might actually explore some of the lighter weight packs that are out there. The issue that I have with those is they don't quite have the suspension, so by the time you put in, you know, a tent and a bear canister and all that, I'd really want to play around to see how that would fit to my back before I'd head out to the trail to make sure that wouldn't be too annoying for me. But you can save several pounds fairly quickly with a different style pack, and there are a lot of folks out on the trail we did see with those. Now, before I end this information session on packs, some other things I want to point out, 2 other things that we found critically important. If you think about this, you're going to be living out of this guy for several days, maybe even several weeks. So it's really important to know where everything's at. So one of the things we did is we created a little notes list on our iPhone that told us where everything was in the pack. That said, we needed some terminology so that when we needed to get things out of the pack, we knew where everything was. So for all of us, if they said, hey, I need something out of the lid, we knew what the lid was. So we had the lid. Our right side was our right side. So if I had a side pocket, I say side pocket right or side pocket left. I'd call this guy here my split pocket because it kind of splits open down the middle. So folks knew if I needed something out of split pocket, that's where I would get that. And then here was my trunk. So in the trunk is where I kept my sleeping bag, fit nicely, and then I rolled up my thermarest and that went in there vertically. So that was in the trunk where I put those two things. And then we had a copper spur 3-person tent, which we were able to split up. So I think I took the Rainfly and I was able to just loosely stuff that in around my sleeping bag as well as my sleeping pad and zip all that up, and that was in my trunk. So, or in the bag's trunk. So there you go, and then we had the main compartment. So having a common language so that when folks are helping you get stuff out of your bag and things like that, making sure everybody knows what those things are, but then also having that list. So I'd have a list. Here's everything that's in my lid. Here's everything that's in the main compartment. Here's everything that's the right compartment. And oftentimes, like in the right compartment for me, were things I wanted to get to quickly if I needed to. So that's where my raincoat was, my Rainfly. Maybe in the lid, I might keep things like my toiletries as well as the first aid kit and stuff like that. So having that common language as well as a list of where everything is, because also sometimes things might pop out of your list. So make sure you have a checklist before you get out on the trail. Make sure everything's in there so you don't forget anything. So hopefully you found that useful, and we hope to see you out on the trail.